back to Saltiness Isn't Bliss. Today, let's have a chat. Let's just get into it, guys. How did I start my reduced sodium cooking journey? Well, a few years back, my husband was diagnosed with high blood pressure, and so that became the starting point at which we started to really learn and really be shocked by just how much enormous amounts of salt and sodium were hiding in the everyday foods and meals that we were eating, and even in some of the things we were drinking. And so we just kind of, use that as a moment to reevaluate our meals and the way we prepared our meals and what we put into our meals. And then in turn, what we put into our bodies. And so, throughout that process, we've learned so very much. As simple as, reading the nutrition label on the box, on the package. The great thing about the internet is if you want to go eat or get food from out, you can pull up a nutrition menu for the restaurant and for each of the menu items they offer from that restaurant. So we've been able to utilize that and learn a lot as far as which restaurants tend to be on the higher sodium side, which ones are lower, what items on the menu are better, and it's not always what you think either. I will say it's definitely been a lot of twists and turns in places we didn't expect to have a lot more salt, and then, nice surprises in things that we thought were salty and weren't. So that's that. What has been my biggest surprise since learning how to really cook, and especially cook this way? I think just the fact that I used to think of cooking as very, very stressful. And, how do you figure it out? How do you time everything? How do you get it done when you want it done? And the bottom line is, especially for me, and I hope that you can take away from this, it really depends on what you're making and how you're making it and what you're doing. So in my case, in the beginning, I needed to start really simple, not overwhelm myself, not be trying to have 5 different things done at the same time. And then just kind of learn and add from there, and then really take my time with the dishes that required a lot more ingredients or a lot more prep, and so they took a lot more time and energy. And even now, I hope you'll find with the videos on my channel, they still, for the most part, stick to just simple, basic ingredients, prep, and they are not super time-consuming to make, so that you can just sit down and enjoy the food. Know that you're eating something that's got a lot less salt in it than it would have, if you had prepared it a different way. And, just enjoy it rather than be so tired and stressed out in the kitchen. What are my favorite dishes? What are my least favorite dishes? So my whole life, my favorite dishes have been Italian, which is funny because I'm not Italian, and soup. I have always had a love for soup. There are very few soups I don't eat and don't like, so soup is a great one for me. My least favorite dishes are fish. Anything with fish, anything with crustaceans, I just am not too appealed by. It just doesn't look very appetizing to me, although I will say there is such a wide variety of fish dishes and different ways you can prepare them, and I do have salmon on this channel, so I have ventured out a little bit, maybe not as much as I would like, but at any rate, I've just never been a big fan. So trial and error. What I wanted to talk about for just a moment is that, do I cook every single night? I wish I could say yes. The real answer is no. Life gets busy. Work gets in the way. Sometimes you're just too darn tired. Sometimes you're all excited to make something and realize you don't even have the ingredients you need in the house, or what you planned on making spoiled, it went bad, you had to throw it out. So no, I don't cook every night. I certainly try to do it as often as I can, and I do enjoy doing it, and I feel very, proud of myself and accomplished when I put a nice, tasty homemade meal on the table, and of course share those with you on the channel. Does it happen all the time? Of course not. And also, unexpected things happen while you're cooking. So you're gonna burn some of your dishes. You're going to cut your fingers while you're preparing your meal. All of the things that we don't plan on happening happen. And so you just, you know, figure it out as you go, work around it. Sometimes we do resort to fast food. Like I said, the best way to approach that is to just pull up the nutrition menu online, and you can just know ahead of time what has more salt, what doesn't, what ways can you cut the salt down. So if we order French fries from a restaurant, we get them unsalted. So right there, we're cutting the sodium way down from what it would have been. What are my favorite hacks and utensils? So I featured tips and tricks on my channel. So those would be some of my favorite hacks for sure. Some of my favorite utensils and things to work with in the kitchen I have behind me. So first I want to say, don't ever underestimate a mini utensil. So I've got a silicone spatula, a mini whisk, and a silicone brush. These three things, I never knew how much I needed and how much easier they would make my life in the kitchen. So don't underestimate utensils that are on the smaller side, because they can still do a whole lot and be a huge help in the kitchen, even though they're not a full-size utensil. Two of the other things I love, which maybe these would be considered hacks, is different storage methods and different ways they've come up that you can store fruit and vegetables and things that tend to go bad much quicker than others in the refrigerator, or just in the time since you bring them home from the grocery store. So this one obviously holds tomatoes, this one holds lemons, and they make a whole wide variety of these. These are two that I love and use very often. What I love about the tomato holder, there's no set tomato size or type that can go in here. You can get creative with it. You can put even little cherry tomatoes, just fill it up. You know, whatever floats your boat. And then these two items behind me, I think you've seen me feature a lot on the channel. This is a silicone mat. It says on it it's designed for baking. I use it for pretty much anything but baking. Occasionally I use it for baking, but I find it's much more versatile than that. I do feature them a lot when I make my homemade pizzas. So this is my small one. I do have one that's much larger than this. They are so easy to work with, and all I do is just spray a paper towel, wipe them down front and back when I'm done, let them dry, roll them back up so they're ready for the next time I need them. And then this is my cutting mat. So it's very, very thin, shiny on one side, dull on the other. I'm not sure if you can see how well loved it is and all the cut lines on it, but this is incredible. So this is basically a modern take on the cutting board. And the thing that's so great about this is you can reuse them over and over, and they're so easy to use, so easy to clean, and also they're very flexible. So if you've just cut up a bunch of stuff on here and now you need to transfer it, all you have to do is kind of curve and roll that up and just dump what you've got on here right into your pot or your pan or wherever you're transferring it to, and it just makes life so much easier. So if you guys have found some great hacks and some great utensils and things you love in the kitchen, please share them down below. And last but not least, what was my inspiration behind my channel? So first and foremost would be that I mentioned that a few years back, you know, we had to really shift the way we were cooking and eating and go to a more lower or reduced sodium lifestyle. In addition to that, at the time that that happened, I was really trying to look for YouTube channels, recipes, anything I could find online that could be a guide and be a tool to help with that, and it was extremely limited. So, you know, I just thought, why not share this with others? Why not help and inspire others in the way that, you know, we've learned and we've grown throughout this reduced sodium journey. So I really hope that makes a difference for you guys. I really enjoy sharing it with you. I love all your comments. Thank you so much for watching, for liking, for subscribing. It really means so much. So I will see you next time.